I love the idea of somebody watching the show and seeing a band that they aren't familiar with and saying, whoa, I wasn't really that into that band before. Let me check it out. Because I hear people say, dude, you turned me on to Pantera, you turned me on to White Zombie. And that's so flattering. And I would love nothing more. I've had people tell me, I turned them on to Code Orange. And I thought that was really cool.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in the great Riki Rachtman. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty awesome. Thanks.
You are having a stellar time. Congratulations on the big news of The Ball coming to Gimme Metal, Gimme TV, Gimme Metal TV, one of those. But super stoked for you, man. This is a great thing, not just for you, for the whole scene, for the whole genre. I know it must be like a broken record in the best possible way, replaying in your mind. Before I unpack all this stuff that I want to ask you about, of course, it's been a tough year. The whole last calendar year has been insane, and you have continued to just do Riki things the whole way. Grind, hustle, Riki's ride. Not too much different despite the COVID than you normally do. But I hope you're well. I hope your family's well. I know you had some illness stuff. I hope you and Leah are just doing the best you can under all the circumstances.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I did get sick. I got COVID, and I'm the guy that said, "Oh, but if you get it, it's just going to be like the flu. I'll be fine." And I got it, and it kicked my ass. It was the worst. But now, the crazy thing is, and I've heard other people say it, there are some, side effects, mental weird effects. There's certain things that I used to eat that I don't eat anymore. There's certain things that I now like. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of like, I think we'll find, years from now that there were a lot of side effects and mental things that COVID caused that we didn't even, realize. But hey, I'm better now. It seems like people are getting better. So I'm looking forward to the future.
Awesome. And so are we. And you are rolling into the rest of 2021 with this ass kicking great news. Again, when I saw, you've been hinting at things and teasing things out on I hope people are following you, and your vlogs and everything, all the stuff you do. That's awesome. Podcasting, everything, your multimedia mini empire. And then you've been kind of teasing this thing. You did the thing with Code Orange, which was awesome and great of them and you to connect. Cause again, what a perfect match. And then this is, again, I'm going to say it again, a perfect match. Gimme Metal TV and Riki Rachtman and The Ball. And we finally get a music video show again, a real variety type of show with a host that we have not had since The Ball.
Yeah, the Code Orange thing, it's like, there were, and I want people to understand that I'm not putting down any genre of music. I like the heavy stuff and I like some of the stuff from the Cat House era is what I like to call it. But, I found that when I would go, I don't appear at a lot of the festivals that would have like a lot of the, 80s bands. That's not to say that I don't like it, because I love it. I mean, I love Faster Pussycat. I love LA Guns. I love Junkyard. I love all those bands a lot. I'll go see Jackal when they play. But I didn't do those things because, for one, I mean, hey, Eddie Trunk's got those things on lock, and that's great. But I would go to heavier shows because that's, usually what I like a lot. And Code Orange, I was a fan of, and the whole thing came up. It was like, hey, we're going to do this Mudbangers Ball thing. Do you think you would like cut a promo for us? And, I was talking to Jamie about, them paying for everything themselves and just doing it for so many good reasons. And I truly like Code Orange a lot. So I was like, look, man, you're in Pittsburgh. It's like a 2-day ride. Why don't I just ride my motorcycle up there and I'll do it in person? And they're like, really? I'm like, oh yeah. So I just rode up there and I did it. And I did Mudbangers Ball with them twice. And it was nice because, most of the Code Orange audience is much younger than me. And they didn't know. I mean, I'm still surprised how many kids know about Headbangers Ball and stuff that I did, whether it's the Cat House Hollywood podcast or whether just watching Headbangers Ball on YouTube. But it was nice to do stuff in front of, an audience that I normally didn't do. That if I was still doing Headbangers Ball, if Headbangers Ball stayed on for 40 years, chances are I wouldn't be interviewing, the Bullet Boys, I would probably be interviewing Code Orange. Actually, I'd probably be interviewing both. But the fact is that I get to work with some of the newer bands is something that I like because uh unlike some of my peers, I really like new bands. I mean, the beauty is it's like if I'm allowed to have this much great music and then all of a sudden newer bands come in, I'm allowed to have this much great music. I mean, I still listen to, you know, Motorhead as much as I'll listen to, any of the newer bands that I like.
Right on, man. I definitely was an old school MTV Headbangers Ball kid. I got cable right around the time you joined the ball. And it was like every Saturday night of my life in the early 90s, early to mid 90s. That's all we did. My whole crew of people, we would either be together or on the phone. Dude, did you just see that? And I also would like to know what the Bullet Boys are up to, by the way. But
Yeah, when I say that I'm doing heavier stuff,
I
it
know.
doesn't mean that I don't, some people say, "Oh, well, you're giving up the music that made you." I'm like, absolutely not. I
Yeah.
love those bands. I still go to those shows. And when I go to those shows, I go to those shows because it's fun. I don't have to be at a show that might have like a Dangerous Toys playing. The reason I would go see a band like that is because, well, that's kind of fun stuff. And I like that type of stuff. But for the same reason, that I would go see a Turnstile if I could, or something like that. I just like music. I've always loved music.
Yeah, of course. And by the way, just again as a fan and just as a longtime viewer, you always represented the whole gamut of heavy music, not just one thing. I know the association because of the Cat House and the Strip and your associations with Guns and things like that. I think people just kind of toss you in there as a person in that scene, a character in that larger scene.
But
Just like if you were a New York hardcore guy, if you were a CBGB's person all the time, you would be one of those guys.
I am. And the thing is, it's like, if people would see me at watching a certain band play, they're like, "Why are you there if you like this?" I'm like, "I like this," and everybody wants to pigeonhole me in, to the and it's ridiculous. It's like I understand that I'm a target, but like I'll look on the internet and it's like, "Oh, I guess Ricky's new thing is trying to look like Dave Grohl." I'm like, dude, in 1992, I had long hair and a beard. It's like I can't win no matter what I do. But the good thing is, like, all the doubters have sort of been more silent because people are really stoked about the ball. And I know there's some people that are going to say, "Oh, it's all heavy. It's a little more aggressive," and I'm like, that's okay because that's what this show is supposed to be. I'm not doing the Headbangers Ball. If I was on for 3 hours once a week, I'd have a much bigger, palette of bands to choose from. But this is just one show, and I just wanted to play heavy music, for
Right
this one
on.
show.
You are the right person to host this show. I'm going to tell
Thank
you
you.
that. And I am a Gimme Metal fan. We've had a Gimme Metal show that I hosted, so we're huge fans of what everything they do is first class. Props to Tyler and the whole crew.
Oh, they're
And
awesome.
they're
They're
so
awesome.
good. They really did
And the
their
cool
homework.
thing is, I mean, this is honestly how the whole thing went down. I also work in NASCAR, and Gimme Radio put a Megadeth car out there one time. I was like, what the hell is Gimme Metal? So I started researching. I'm like, oh, this is some like real stuff. I like Gimme Metal. And then I heard they were trying to launch this Gimme TV. So it was like, "Hey, Tyler, my name is Ricky Rachtman. Do you want to do something?" And they're like, "Sure." And then he goes like, "Hey, Ricky, how would you feel if Knotfest is involved?" I'm like, okay. It was never a thing where I mean, I'll be honest, I ain't getting paid. I'm doing this all thing because I want to do it. It's outlaw. It's no budget. It's just like, I'm doing this not because I think it'll make me famous or because it'll make me money. I'm purely doing this because I think it's going to be fun. That's the reason that I'm doing this show.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And again, just shows you've been a lifer the whole way. You always represented us. And, of course, I know the documentary about the ball that was done by MTV talked about like your haters, your many haters and difficulties, but also how you overcome them and always kind of handled it like a pro. And I think if you don't have some people that dislike you, you're probably doing it wrong. So you're doing it right when people don't like what you do. But I think the reason I am just as a press member seeing the overwhelming positivity about this is just generally an affection for you and what you've done for our genre and the fact that between getting co-signed by Slipknot's Knotfest website, which is becoming a huge deal, and Gimme TV and Gimme Metal TV, it's a big deal. It is a big deal, and it's a great thing.
It's so cool because all three of us are all in this for the right reason. You know, we're not sitting here thinking, hey, you know, let's see how much Hot Topic will pay for this show. We're just like, let's do it. And I mean, honestly, this is the honest truth. I shot everything with this, and they haven't even seen the clips I've shot yet. And one of them is really, really goofy because I don't mind being the butt end of a joke a lot of times. And I just kind of gave it to them. I made a list of videos. The truth is, because this was the first show, we weren't able to get a lot of the videos. You know, when I say, okay, I want this one from Iron Maiden, and then let's play this one from this and this one. And some videos we were not able to get because people were like, well, we don't even know what this show is going to be. But now it's like, okay, everybody wants to be a part of it. And I'm very pleased. You know, I'm here to say that every video that's on the show, and I never said that about Headbangers Ball, every video that's on the show deserves to be on the show. Are there bands that I wish were also on this episode? Yes. But every video that's on this one should be on it. Like I'm very happy about all the choices.
Right on. And yeah, let's just put it out there on Main Street, right? The first show is March 27th, and it's free. Anyone's going to be able to see it, which Gimme Metal TV does a great job. Whenever they premiere a new thing, like they did a live stream with the black metal band Gay Era, and it was the very first paid live stream Gimme Metal TV did, and they made it was for pay, but it was like a very low barrier to entry. If you were a fan, you could afford it. You know, the technology is improving, so this is really such a great step forward, not just for you and the scene, but also for them. This is a big deal. I look forward to talking to those guys again at some point too.
Yeah, and I just want everybody to know this is one episode. There's no talk of episode 2. I mean, if they said, "Hey, let's do this a weekly thing," that'd obviously be something that would be worth talking about. If somebody else came and said, "Let's do the ball or bring back the Headbangers Ball," of course, this is something that I want to do. But the truth is, working with Gimme Metal has been effortless. It's been fun, and it's serious. It's like Wayne's World. It's like, hey, dude, you know, can we start the show Power Trip? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I mean, it's that simple. I can say whatever I want. The videos are, I'm very happy with it. You know, I sometimes, sorry about the male sound. I wish there was more time to play more videos and a bigger variety, but I'm very happy with what we got.
Awesome, man. I'm so stoked to see this. You have no idea. It's going to be the highlight of my month.
Mine
And
too.
for real, of course. And but yeah, for me, I'm really excited for you and for all of us. I think this is just a great thing. This is the begin. I have a feeling. I'll say this: my personal experience with Gimme Metal. I hosted a Ghost Cult program. They let me pick my list. My playlist could be very eclectic, mostly modern stuff, but a little bit of old school too. And they let me pick my playlist, and I'm in the chat weekly. I listen to a couple of shows: Mustaine, Jessica Pimentel, the Crusher, Dean Rispler, and the fans in the chats are diehards. Gimme Metal, I think, has something like 150,000 subscribers or regular listeners, and at least, if not more now. And
I
yeah,
know
they're
for a
invested.
fact that there's a lot of people that subscribe to it and got an app because they heard about the ball. And
Yeah.
that's another thing is that I did shoot my segments already, but I will be there in a live chat and we'll be able to talk throughout the entire show, which is something that I also think is really exciting. And the other thing is, you know, people are like, oh, when is it on? Okay, I'll wait and I'll watch it, you know, when I get back from work, or I'll watch it or, you know, people watch a TV series and they'll wait for the whole series and then binge watch it. It's like, no, it's on Saturday at 9:00 Eastern, 6:00 Pacific on Gimme Metal. That's where it is. If you want to come home and watch it, you better come home in time to watch it. I want people to get in the idea of kicking back and watching it on TV. And I know that sounds crazy in this generation, but you know, grab some beers or sodas and pizza and whatever, and grab your friends and like turn it up. You know, I mean, Who says we can't? I mean, that's what I want. I want people to get in the habit of having it on. Now there's a video. Oh, I'm not familiar with that video. How do I hit the fast forward button? I love the idea of somebody watching the show and seeing a band that they aren't familiar with and saying, whoa, I wasn't really that into that band before. Let me check it out. Because I hear people say, dude, you turned me on to Pantera, you turned me on to White Zombie. And that's so flattering. And I would love nothing more. I've had people tell me, I turned them on to Code Orange, and I thought that was really cool. So I hope the same thing happens with the ball.
I have a gut feeling it will. And I will say this, that, one of my favorite things about you and your career, and it's carried over ever since the ball, is you are a great interviewer. Not everybody is a great interviewer. I think it's a skill and an art. I work really hard at mine. I know you did at yours. I would love to see you interview both a current crop of more modern artists like Gojira and Lamb of God and people like that, as well as have you meet and re-interview some of the old school legends you did back in the day, because you were so good at it.
Oh, everybody wants me and Dave Mustaine back. I mean, that's a given. That's a given. The thing about it is, I mean, I appreciate that, but I watch episodes of the Headbangers Ball and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, if I wasn't me, I would be a Riki hater on the first 2 years of Headbangers Ball because I thought I was terrible. But what happened was I got more comfortable. And I will tell you that I do have a guest. I have one guest on the new episode, on the episode of the Ball, and I also have a celebrity video request. So, and when you see I don't like to say interviews, but when you see the guest that I have on the Ball, you're going to say like, oh yeah, this isn't like a regular interview, because we're and that I got a lot of criticism for people saying, oh, everybody was his friend. Well, guess what? This is one episode of the Ball. Of course, I'm going to put a friend on, and I did, and I think that's what's going to be cool. And if I do it again, I hope I get to interview or hang out with people. That was the fun thing about the Ball, was just having conversations with people.
Right on. Part of that is being a good listener. For those that don't know, by the way, not only is Dave Mustaine a host on Gimme Metal, he's a founding investor. So he's got a stake in the success of this, I think, which I think is interesting and unique, of course. And of course, people want to see you with Dave. Those indelible in our mind, etched into our minds forever, those interviews like Danzig and the water park with Alice in Chains, Action Park in New Jersey. Like, people still talk about those things.
All the time. Believe me. All the time. And the funny thing is, you mentioned, Danzig, and you mentioned Megadeth, which to the uneducated people will just go, dude, Dave Mustaine hated you. It's so funny. On this episode, oh, he hated you so much. You do realize you're talking about 6 episodes, how he hated me so much. Hey, why would he have done the show? Why would I have wanted him back? And most importantly, people don't say, dude, that interview you did with Lars, or dude, that they remember the Mustaine one, because, and Dave, and I've said this in interviews so many times. I saw Dave about a year and a half ago, and he went up to me. He's like, we were the Abbott and Costello of MTV. I'm like, Dave, I loved it because people remembered it. People was like, oh, Glenn Danzig tried to throw Riki in the fire. He hated him that much. I'm like, yeah, dude. And like 2 months later, he played my birthday party. Okay. Nice. It's these, I'm not, if Dave Mustaine said something to me and I would have said like, oh, screw you, Dave, that wouldn't have been fun to watch. So if Dave Mustaine's going to give me a hard time, do it. It's Dave Mustaine and it's Megadeth. It's okay. It's not like if some little band that I never heard of and didn't respect and didn't like was giving me crap, they never would have been on Headbangers Ball. But these are bands that are viable, and it was all done in good fun. When I'm with my friends, all we're doing is giving each other a hard time, so it was great.
Good-natured ribbing. It wasn't mean-spirited. And even if it felt a little mean, it was for the show. And you had many friendships and great repartee with a lot of artists, which again carried over. We saw that in our living rooms, and we got an experience. Listen, man, you sang with Metallica at their studio. You did all those contests with fans. The Anthrax destroyed the house. Like, all these things to me are like they happened yesterday. Ghost Cult, we share like a Headbangers Ball video just every Saturday night to just keep that spirit alive. That's just what I do because I'm that guy. But yeah, man, I think this is really great. And I'm really looking forward to this experience. I do have a couple more questions for you, just in a general sense.
Go ahead.
I will say this, that again, my positive, good experience with Gimme Metal, the fans will let you know if you're doing it right. They will ask for you back. they will build a groundswell in that chat with you hang out
I
with
hope
them.
so.
I'll be
I
there
hope
for
so.
sure. I think my tag is Ghost Cult Keefe, and I'll be hanging out, of course. What's interesting is I know that, I don't expect a broad commentary on this, but I think the changing tides of television and now streaming, I see Gimme Metal TV as just another type of streaming app. Like I pay for Disney Plus so I can watch Marvel and Star Wars. I will pay for Gimme Metal TV so I can watch these metal shows like yours in the future, and videos and things like that, or documentaries like the Michael Alago movie that I love so much. And yeah, man, I wondered what your take was on why has it been, even for other genres of music, there isn't really a hosted video show anywhere anymore on either streaming or terrestrial cable, and I wonder why it's been so hard to get it back.
I don't know. I mean, I know that, I've brought it up to other mediums. I mean, all anybody had to do, but you know, they're not they're if there's something heavy metal, I mean, maybe it's my ego think like, hey, why doesn't somebody hit me up? But they don't. And I'm not going after it either. It's not like I'm calling Access or VH1 or MTV or any other saying, hey man, I want to host a show. I'm not, I've got other stuff to do. And my ego thinks, well, they should come to me, which they didn't. Gimme Radio. I went to Gimme Radio, but it would have, if I didn't, they probably would have gone to me in a week later. It's all for the right reasons. I don't know why. I think sometimes, especially in the hard rock, heavy metal community, we are so ready to talk crap that we don't realize, maybe it's important to elevate. Maybe it's important to talk about what we like and try to elevate the scene so we get it up. Instead of everybody saying, oh, the Headbangers Ball, I hated when they played this video. Why not focus on the videos that were played that were really good? Because if everybody's just spewing out all that hatred, this stuff is never going to come back. And Gimme Metal, I think if you like the heavier music, I think you're going to be very, very happy. And instead of thinking about what you don't like, think about what you like, because right now we're the only ones doing it. And this, I could have gone and done a show and stole videos from YouTube, but I would have been taken down for seconds. So some videos that we couldn't get licensing to, we didn't play. Some videos we did, and that's where Gimme Metal worked. Gimme Metal and Knotfest worked their butts off getting us some videos, because I wanted this show to be evergreen. I want this show to be up there. And everybody said, and then I want all the labels and bands saying, well, why were we not on the ball? That if we do more episodes, that everybody's coming to the table and saying, hold on a second, we've got this band, we're coming out with a new album. Why aren't we on the ball?
Right on. I'm going to build that swell of support. I have a gut feeling it's going to be recurring because I feel like the demand is there. I have always felt that if, even though the fans made their voices known, obviously things like MTV and are in a different direction than they used to be. They don't have music programming much anymore, but there are other avenues. And I always felt like if we had a chance to get something back, preferably with you, we would. And here is to me, I think the first step forward in that.
I mean, the thing is, I'm very busy. I have a whole lot of jobs. I'm working every single day, and I travel, with motorsports and with the flat track series and stuff like that. And like I'm here at my office right now with my apparel company. So it's not like I don't I have a lot of free time. But the truth is, I want to do it. I mean, I want to do the show. And the reason that I want to do the show, as I've said before, is not for me to get a little bit of fame back or make some money. It's like, I want to do the show because I really want to do the show, because I really enjoy doing it. I mean, I like talking about stuff. I like being a goofball in front of the camera. That's stuff that I like to do. And if I didn't, I wouldn't do it. I don't have to do it. I want to do it.
Right on, right on. Just for a last thing, I could ask you so many questions and stories from your career, but this one just came up. Lemmy's final wishes, in accordance with his passing 5 years ago, his final wishes were to have his ashes encased in bullets and given out to his closest friends, and you were gifted with one. I didn't know if you had it handy, but I had to bring it up. Oh my goodness, dude. Let's see it. The unboxing of the bullet. Wow, badass.
So
yeah, go ahead.
I get a call. I mean, most people know that I was very close to Lemmy. His manager, Todd, is such a great guy. Mickey, everybody in the band. I really think, I mean, they've always meant a lot. They've always meant a lot to me. And if ever I needed something, like Motorhead would always come forward. They would just like, here, I'll play this. I mean, the very, very last night at the Cat House, Motorhead played. And they played my birthday, and Lemmy would just, he was great. And, my first time ever on Headbangers Ball, I wore a Motorhead shirt. And, I love Lemmy, I mean, I love the band Motorhead so much. And I mean, I have, on the 8th of May, which is Motorhead Day, I got a snaggletooth tattooed on my leg. And, I mean, I'm wearing a what does that do? I'm wearing a Motorhead shirt now. I mean, I've got little Lemmy Funkos in my office. When I got a call from, I think it was his manager, somebody that said, hey, what's your home address? We have something special from Lemmy, and it's something personal. And I was like, yeah. So I gave him my address. So I opened this in the mail yesterday, and I opened it. I was like, oh, it's a little bullet that says Lemmy. I go, that's kind of neat. Maybe it was a bullet that was in one of Lemmy's belts. And then I read it, and it was like, Lemmy asked to have his ashes put in some bullets and give them to some close personal friends. And it was just like, all of a sudden, I just like, my eyes started watering, and I started getting teary. And I have no problem in saying that, I cried a little bit when I got it. And it meant so much to me. And the reason that it's here with me at my office, because when I go home, I also take it with me, is I want to make it into a necklace, because I want to wear it all the time, every single day. And it was very, very touching. And, I mean, Lemmy is a great, great person. Motorhead is a great band. When I was younger and I listened to punk rock, I would listen to Motorhead. And then when I was listening to a lot of the bands in the LA scene, I was listening to Motorhead. And now that I'm older, I listen to Motorhead. Motorhead is just a great rock and roll band. And something like that was very, very touching and very, very flattering.
Amazing, and says a lot about you and your relationship to Lemmy and things like that. So thank you for sharing that, Ricky. You are an inspiration to me and to all of us. Thank you for sharing your time with Ghost Cult Magazine. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it,
And
brother.
yeah, man, thanks for your time.